Well, hello everyone. Welcome to a not so late night edition of the Missing Wolves post game podcast live stream thing. I'm your host Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage, as always, and today we got Matthew Brockberg from the Daily Wolves. Long time no talk, man. How's it going?
Dude, it's been great, man. Just enjoying life, living it up the best I can. Got my daughter due here in the next couple weeks, so just getting excited, getting ready for that, man.
And I do have to catch up on your life a little bit. So daughter's due in a couple weeks. How's the dog doing?
Dogs, plural,
Oh
and
gosh, you went two dogs?
okay, get a load of
What
this too.
happened?
So retriever. We got an Australian Shepherd lab mix last May,
Yeah.
and she's due with puppies in 2 weeks.
Oh my God. So
Yeah,
you're gonna
so
have multiple dogs and a newborn.
yeah, so I'm just not gonna sleep.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I'll see you until I don't know, what is it, February? Probably not until August at this point. Like you're
Probably, yeah.
just
I'm
gonna
just
have
gonna
to go into full dad mode on everything.
Yeah, hibernate when I can, sleep when I can for the 30 minutes that I'm allowed to.
Well, I'm glad I got you before your life turns not bad. It's not a bad life change, but it'll be a little busier. But
Yeah.
we do have some basketball to talk about. Wolves go out and kind of do that thing that the Wolves do where they win 4 in a row, they get themselves back into kind of the meat of that playoff contention. Vibes are high. I think everyone's kind of thinking, all right, maybe they're turning that corner and doing that second half stretch thing. And then they lose 137 to 128 to the Memphis Grizzlies, who were healthier than they were on Friday. Friday was the day. Healthier than they were on Friday, but not by much. Like still missing Conchar, still missing Aldama, still missing half of the players on their roster. I mean, Ant scores 39, Jaden scores 29. Is there really anything else you can take from this one, Matt?
I mean, you gotta kind of give credit due where credit's deserved. Like, it's hard to beat any team in the NBA when they make 46% of their threes and then make 50% of their shots. And like, you guys saw the shots that Ty Jerome was making literally all night long. Like, it was just a tough loss. Like, offensively, I don't think we could have done much more than we did, but I'm sure we'll get into this. But stuff on the defensive side of the ball, like I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, and let's talk about the defense because I think that was the most glaring part of it was, first quarter they come out, Memphis runs 36 points on them. They go 6 of 9 from the 3-point range, 6 of 12 from 2, and it just doesn't look like many people are engaged. I think would be the polite way of saying that. John Krasinski and Dane are both in Memphis, so I'm sure we'll get some good locker room clips coming out of that, but it just didn't really look like they had much interest in playing defense. Second quarter, Memphis puts up 32, or second quarter, Memphis puts up 30, third quarter, it's 32, and then they close with a 39-point fourth quarter. I mean, just like, what is it about this defense that it's just almost, they are the fourth best defense in the league, and it seems like they do this once every couple weeks.
Yeah, it does get exhausting, but then again, you do hear that, and it's just kind of like, all right, well, it just doesn't make sense like at all.
Mhm.
I think the big thing for me that I've really started to notice and that we're really starting to miss is the point of attack defender that Nikhil Alexander Walker was like, and the Day is pretty solid at it, but it's just our screen navigation is not good. And if, like I said earlier, Memphis made 19 threes, shot 46%. I would be willing to bet half of those came on plays where Minnesota decided to go under on a screen when we should have went over. Simple as that. It's one of those things like it's you can't really coach it. And yeah, I guess just real quick on the topic of that, I am sick of the Chris Finch, Fire Finch scapegoat. How can you just blame this game on Finch tonight? Like, you come out, you miss 7 free throws. That's been a problem all year. I just covered the screen navigation thing. And then the third quarter, we were talking about this before we hopped on. I'm never going to hop on a podcast, hop on the internet and complain about the refs, but it was bad tonight. It was really bad. Like, we see the comment right here from Pack Mentality. the refs were bad. It had Ed Malloy's fingerprints all over it. It's kind of, we can sit and sulk about it, or we can just move on to the next. It's a long season. We are in the drag of the season. The worst part, trade rumors. It's just right before the All-Star break. Guys are ready for a break. So it's just, I think tonight was just a bunch of things.
So I'm going to address a couple comments here, and then we'll get more into it. Mustafa brings up Mike Conley. I know I have my allegiances where they lie. I think Mike Conley has a place on this team. I think it is very clear that offensively he just isn't. The floater is gone. The inside game is gone. He can't stop and hit the mid-range, and his 3-point shot has been pretty terrible. I mean, let's just be honest. Like it's not good. He hasn't looked good shooting the ball in probably a month and a half. That being said, Mike Conley had the best defensive rating on the team today. So like Mike isn't going to give you prime Mike Conley or even quality starting point guard minutes at this point in his career. But like when he screws up in a way so that like they get funneled into Rudy on defense, or it gets funneled to the baseline and it's harder to make a shot. The offensive stuff to me is the stuff where I think people really have a good Mike Conley point of just like, the guy can't score anymore, which that's tough. Mike Conley, despite having the best defensive rating on the team, still finished as a team worst a second to team worst minus 41.9 as a net rating. Like there's just no juice in his offensive game anymore. And like, if you're playing 5 minutes a night as like just the, someone's in foul trouble guy, I think there's a place for that, but he just can't score, which Cole adds his place is right next to Joe. Ghost says Conley's place is the water boy. Like, yes, that is kind of that's what I'm getting at without saying it. Like when point guards, when the end of their time hits, it's just over. Darren Williams, Jason Kidd, John Stockton might be the only like exception to the rule. I mean, he was solid until the very end. Gary Payton finished his season as like a scrub in Miami. Like it's just these guys, when it's done, it's done, which sucks. To go on your point with the defense though, like I do agree with you on the refs side of it. Cause I mean, they just didn't do any favors. Like that third quarter, you could see Ant getting frustrated. You could see Julius getting frustrated. Ant ends up picking up a tech. Finch ends up picking up one in the fourth. Like, I do think this team gets a little too concerned with the referee issue at times, where it lets them just take them out of their game. But that being said, like, just objectively speaking, when this team gets taken out of their game from a referee standpoint, it's usually because like they're getting called for ticky-tack stuff on one end and the other team isn't on the other end, like a la OKC. Tonight, though, it just seemed like the refs were just like, yeah, you guys just go out and brawl and let's see what happens. And then they completely changed pace in the fourth quarter, which is like, what a mind F that is for everybody out there, right?
Right, no kidding. And like that's like the big problem that I have with officiating. It's like if you're gonna call ticky-tack fouls, sure. Just don't switch it up. Don't switch it up. Recall it for both teams. Like I tell everybody this too. It's like for the people that want to complain about Shea's whistle, Shea gets fouled a lot.
Yeah.
He does. But it's the ticky-tack calls. You don't see it on the other side I guess for all you Wolves fans that are watching, the best way I can explain this, you guys see Ant get absolutely raked and then not get called, or just get taken out midair and not get called. You see Shea get a little bump and like two shots. Like, it's just annoying. There does need to be some consistency. I feel like I don't want to make this whole segment thing about like the refs, but it's 2026, man. Like something has to be done. We've been having conversations about the official or like officiating like to a big degree. I want to say over probably the last 2.5 seasons at this point, and it's just not getting any better. Like I guess maybe sure it's gotten a little better this season, but like they're gonna have their nights, and I don't know. Something needs to be done. You can't have games decided by okay, I shouldn't say decided. You should not have officiating should not play as big of a factor as it does, like it did tonight in NBA games.
And it, pack mentality brings up the refs' names we know are the bad ones. Like, this is
Yes.
the only sport, like baseball, I think used to be this way, where like
Yeah.
people knew umps and were like, oh, this one's going to suck. But now it's kind of uniformed a little bit. Football, I don't think there's people like, oh, this guy's the sideline judge. Basketball is like the only sport where it's like you see Tony Brothers, Ed Malloy as
Yeah.
like an officiating, and it's like, well, this is going to be weird, and like it
Yep.
shouldn't be weird. It's officiating, like it should just be normal. Catching up a little bit, Ghost says the glove was ring hunting in LA before Miami. So is Karl Malone. Rip that team. My piece that's coming out tomorrow or Wednesday on Zone Coverage is a deep dive into that Shaq trade. Just because I wanted to, and my editor just kind of lets me do what I want, which is nice. Cole adds, I don't understand why you guys don't think we wouldn't be frustrated with this team. We are fully healthy playing an awful team. Like, I completely think your frustration is valid. Everyone in the chat
Yeah.
that's in here, like, it is a valid frustration. I'm just to the point after covering this team for 3 years where it's just kind of like, yeah, this is what the Wolves do. It's
Yep.
I guarantee you in the locker room, Ant will say something to the effect of like, this one's on me. I got to make more shots. If they talk to Jaden, he'll be like, yeah, I got to defend better. Everyone will take accountability. And it just kind of goes from there, which maybe that's the most frustrating part for everybody, is that this team talks about it, but doesn't really fix things. Don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, and that I think like, we sit and like we cover the team and we kind of gotta hold our tongue to a degree, but whether you're a fan, whether you support the Wolves, it does get frustrating to see that stuff because it's been like this for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
They come out, they address it, and nothing changes. And that's another thing. Going back to the Finch scapegoat, like it's not on Finch. It simply isn't. You have a team fully bought in. Sure, like whatever, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what needs to change. Thankfully, the deadline is going to be coming up here in the next few days, so maybe that'll be some juice. Get guys on the edge of their seats. Rotation. I don't know. I don't know what it entitles, but something does need to change.
To me, on the Finch side, and just again to catch up on chat, Pack Mentality says he hates us. I'm assuming you're talking about Ed Malloy. Yeah, it's a tough beat with Ed Malloy. Godfrey, appreciate you chiming in. Like, great point. Wolves starters make 95 million, Memphis makes 5. Like, blaming the refs is ridiculous. I think my frustration with the refs is just the lack of consistency. And I think how that plays in is the Wolves' kind of maturity in those situations isn't good enough. Like, they should be able to play through this. They have Rudy, they have Julius, they have vets. Ant and Jaden are in their 6th years. Nas is in his 7th year. Like, this is not a young team anymore. Like, when the calls aren't going your way, it shouldn't cause you to just kind of collapse, which you see the Wolves get it to 4 in the 4th quarter, and then they just collapse, which, like, that shouldn't happen when you're at this level and you have so many veteran players. Fur adds, Grizzlies didn't even didn't have their first start healthy, didn't play. I'm assuming you're mentioning Edie didn't play. Like, yeah, again, not a good look for this team. We need another player on the bench. That's what we're going to be talking about soon. I wanted to get into trades with you, Matt. Just to kind of add on like one more to your Finch point, is just like, to me, it's really telling that the team, when they win, they almost always bring up that they followed the game plan and like that's the reason they won.
Yep.
And it's like, I just don't know how you can blame it on Finch when the players are like, yeah, when we listen to that guy, it goes pretty well. I wish I had an answer for why they don't listen to him. Like, again,
Right.
this is not, it gets framed as a young team a lot, but like, it's not a young team anymore. These dudes are getting older, you know? Matt, before we go into a break though, Cole has a question of just like, what do you think the impact of KG coming back could be for like Ants, Jaden? Do you think that could have any effect on just the weirdness that this team has?
I, that is a really good question, honestly. I think that, you know, with bringing just the KG back, like it should instill some fire. 100%. KG is a fiery guy. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys see podcast clips, KG's out there letting every word in the book fly on the internet. Like Kevin Garnett is one of the most fiery basketball personalities I've seen. You know, but yeah, that's honest to God really all I have to say about it. I'm super young. I hardly remember watching Kevin Garnett, so I don't this one has passed me a little bit.
One of my favorite stories about Kevin Garnett coming back after his brief time with the Nets was in one of the first practices. Pekovic wasn't running hard enough back on defense in practice, and Garnett just like baseball threw a basketball at Peck's head and like just clocked him in the back of the head with it. And like Peck started running in practice. So like, I think it could possibly help. I think the real thing is just these guys don't, a lot like you, Matt, like they don't know KG. Like I think
Yeah.
Ant has a very kind of like minor relationship with him just through Sprite and all of that stuff. But like I asked Nas about it, like when it got announced, that Nas was just like, yeah, I've never talked to him. Like Julius, I think, played one season against him. Like Rudy and Mike probably have the best like actual relationship with him of being like a
Right.
competitor, but it'll be interesting. I also like don't really know what his role is going to be yet. Like they kind of unveiled it saying that he was going to be really involved and all of that stuff, but it's just kind of like, you know, how involved can a retired player be? Is it going to be like Simone
Yeah.
Augustus and Sylvia Fowles with the Lynx, where they're at practice for weeks at a time during their off seasons? Or is it going to be, you know, like Latrell Sprewell's involved with the Timberwolves, where he like tweets out a couple times? So it's just to be
There's a lot of
determined.
there's a lot of gray space in it still.
Yeah. And I do think Godfrey mentions Robbie Hummel was back tonight and it didn't help. Yeah, big shot Bobby Hummel wasn't motivating the sidelines tonight. And I will say Finch getting that tech in the fourth quarter against the refs too, like that Finch does need to have some more kind of regulation in those situations too. I think he's had like 2 or 3 techs in the fourth quarter against the like just pissed at the refs. Like that's tough. Let's run a quick ad read here though, Matt. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about Giannis. I'm seeing that in the chat quite a bit. And then we'll kind of get into more of the like, again, I think I saw some people bringing up Mustafa, I think brought it up, like Kobe White, the more lesser moves. But first, let's get a couple ad reads in. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. Real quick, housekeeping on Pence Homes. They are still collecting food donations, canned goods, boxed goods, non-perishable, as well as money to do food deliveries in the Twin City and surrounding suburbs for people that are going through it right now with all the stuff going on in Minneapolis and Minnesota in general. If you do wish to help out with that cause, feel free to reach out to them at info@pencehomes.com, or Nate Pence does have Blue Sky, Twitter, I don't know if he's on TikTok, but Instagram. Feel free to shoot him a DM. They're always looking for donations, drivers, anyone willing to help. From what I hear, he's going to kind of keep doing that as long as there's still stuff going on in the cities. So if you can help, I know he would appreciate it. I would appreciate it. A lot of stuff going on. I did
W
also
Pence
miss a
Homes.
comment. What's that?
W Pence Homes.
Yes, awesome people over there. Ren also brings up, I missed your comment of just the Wolves historically not great at emotional regulation. Yes, we have had punched teammates, punched walls, Finch crash outs, Ant crash outs, Julia's crash outs. And when, to your point, when the officiating starts to go downhill, those crash out, the likelihood of crash out increases exponentially. But I just kind of want to start, Matt, with Giannis. I know you and the guys over at Daily Wolves have been talking about it probably until you're blue in the face, but what's
Yes.
kind of your official Giannis position for people that might not have heard it?
Okay, so I'll try to give you the short story because we could sit here till midnight and talk about this if I really wanted to. But my whole 2 cents on the Giannis thing, there was actually a report that came out during the game. And what it was is that if Giannis is to be traded during this trade deadline, it's looking like it's gonna be Golden State from what I'm seeing. Or Miami. Sorry, Golden State or Miami. And my question though is I understand that Giannis is going to want the supermax, right? If you're the Bucks, you're going to try your best to honor his wish. He's the best player that your franchise has ever seen, and yes, he is better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was when he was a Buck. Is the best Buck of all time. If you think not, argue with a wall. But my whole 2 cents on it is kind of it just makes
Matt is
sense.
from Wisconsin, by the way, so he
I
does have
am.
some say in this.
Yes, I got a lot of Bucks fans. I've heard a lot of angles about it. I got a lot of questions coming in daily. But back to what I was saying, I think it just makes sense for both parties to wait until the summer. It's super hard to gauge a trade of this caliber at this point in the year, and especially with the teams that Giannis is interested in, like Golden State is in the play-in and they could make a playoff push. They somehow always figure out to do it. You have Steph Curry on your team. The Wolves, we are fighting for the second or the ninth seed. I don't really know. But anyways, we're in the playoff mix. And then Miami always has rumors that they're going to go out and trade for stars, and they never do. So there's just a lot of variables that go into this. But I do think that there is a real shot that we do get Giannis if we wait until the summer. But again, a lot of factors have to go into it. And number one being, I think that during this deadline, the Wolves do still have to make a move for us to acquire Giannis, whether that be an expiring contract, whether that be somebody with 2 years left on their contract. So the type, like the salary range I'm looking at is like the 18 to 22 million dollars roughly. So the first name that comes up to my head is like a Malik Monk type of player. He's been linked to the Wolves throughout the trade deadline. And after the Kings made their move with DeAndre Hunter, it actually opened up 2 roster spots for Sacramento. So what I think that would look like, you're a young rebuilding team in Sacramento. You don't really have a direction. Maybe you make a call on Rob Dillingham, Leonard Miller, and Mike Conley or something like that, and you can take in Malik Monk's salary. Malik Monk's deal expires not this year, but the following with Tim Conley is a genius too. Everybody is saying that Jaden has to be included in this package. And yes, if the trade were to happen before the deadline, I believe that Jaden would be in the package. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But if you wait until the offseason, you make a few more moves. You can move Rudy. You can sell high on him because Rudy is playing at the level right now where you could get a first round pick for him. You could get some conditional seconds, whatever it may be. So if you can make these moves and get a few more assets here and there, I think ultimately you could go out and trade a Julius Randle, a Malik Monk. You mortgage your future for Giannis. He is a generational player. He is an all-time great. This is not something that you miss out on. And like just think about like what the Wolves have like been like as a whole. Like we have never had a player of this caliber, like remotely close to this caliber, mind you, say, Minnesota's kind of an attractive destination. So I think that yes, there is a real shot that we can come get Giannis, but it would have to be in the summer with a Julius Randle, Malik Monk, all your firsts, and you just ship it off. And then who knows what it could be? You could run a Dante, an Ant, Jaden, Nas, and even a Giannis at the 5 lineup. Like the possibilities are really endless. You are going to dip back into the second apron just a little bit if you acquire Giannis. I could be wrong. But yeah, there's so many things, so many variables have to go right for whoever gets Giannis. So I know I didn't really have a direct answer to be honest.
No, I think you did.
Yeah,
I think you did.
yeah. And I guess I
I
see the real quick. I see this
yeah.
comment right here that Conley doesn't have trade value. Yes and no. You got to think about it. The NBA is a business, right? And Mike Conley makes $11 million. Mike Conley is not on a contract after this year. So next year, whatever it
No,
is.
yeah, it's this summer. He's a free agent.
Yeah. So you trade for Mike Conley. You don't re-sign him. The Kings have $11 million to play with. That's a mid-level exception player. That's young guys. That's whatever you want. And when you're in a position like Sacramento is where you're rebuilding, and we can't forget it is the Kings too, and the Kings tend to kings the whole thing up and just do stupid stuff on the regular. So I really don't think that we can rule that out. But yeah, I do think that there is a real shot at getting Giannis.
Yeah, I mean, just like going through trade scenario, like looking at other teams' rosters and stuff. Slow day at my day job today, and like looking at like what could the Warriors offer? Like you're talking about like an injured Kuminga, Pojenski, maybe 2 first-round picks unprotected, but like you're trading Giannis there, so like is that great? Like their offer isn't great. Like it's Jimmy Butler
Yeah.
probably getting rerouted to a third team that thinks they can compete, excuse me, next year. And then like just a few picks and some kind of middling like rotation guys that probably have similar value to like a Dillingham or a Jalen Clark, like not crazy. Miami is the one to me that has like a pretty good offer. Like if they're really doing like, they're doing Hero, their young center, Jaime Jaquez, the Serbian fella that I can't pronounce his name, Casper
Kasper's Jakiachonis.
That's the one. Lot of consonants in that name. Like, and then they do have some picks still. They got some picks that they can burn like that. That's honestly kind of an appealing like offer if you're Milwaukee. But then it's like if they just wait 6 months, you're getting
Probably double the return.
if you're waiting 6 months, then San Antonio can get into it. Houston can get into it. Cleveland can get into it. Detroit can get into it. Orlando can get into it. And then you're getting like an actual bidding war, kind of the same way like the Durant to Phoenix thing turned into a bidding war. And like you can really get a war chest of stuff. And even the Wolves, like the second the draft is done, they can trade their 2027 first round pick that they drafted. They can trade their 2032 swap rights, their 2033 unprotected. They'll have Randall on an expiring, Rudy on an expiring, Dante on an expiring, Rob, like even the Wolves offer this summer is going to be significantly better than anything they put together now.
Yeah.
Like, I think the benefit of what they could put together now is like, you can send Jaden out there. You can send Julius to a third team. You can send Rudy to a third team. You can send Nas to a third team, and you can get like probably 4 or 5 first-round picks for the Julius, Rudy, Nas type of contracts. And then you're sending Jaden salary filler and 4 or 5 first-round picks, which I think right now that's probably the best offer. But again, compared to what they could get this offseason, I mean, you look at the Spurs, you could get like Sochan, Keldon Johnson, Dylan Harper, and 4 first-round picks. Like, Oklahoma City has like all these weird Clipper picks. Like, it doesn't make sense. Couple of people, Pack Mentality mentioned, does he wait until the summer? That's where I don't know. Like, Giannis, and maybe you know a little bit more because you're at least like reading the news inside the state that he plays in. Like, Giannis doesn't seem like a dude that's just going to make something so toxic that they have to trade him. So like, I just don't know. He would have to make that so uncomfortable that like they're forced to move him. And I mean, what do you think? Like, does Giannis even have that in him?
So I think that Giannis is really just trying to good guy his way out of it from what I've seen, from what I've heard, just from other sources and whatnot. Because he's just outside of basketball, he's a great dude to be around. From what I've gauged, from what I've heard, he loves his fans. He absolutely adores the city of Milwaukee. As crazy as that is for me to like say out loud, I can't think of many people that would enjoy to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, out of anywhere. But he has such a love for the state of Wisconsin, for the Bucks, for the Brewers. Yeah, but the whole situation is just kind of sticky because you can track it back to the whole Shams thing. Shams has been blowing this out of proportion for over a year now. Doc Rivers coming out and saying, "Oh, he doesn't want to leave." And then like 2 weeks prior, you see that Giannis and the Bucks have came to terms that it's just not gonna work. So like he's not gonna bad guy his way out of it. He wants out. Yes, he wants to win another chip. Like, Giannis cares about basketball. He moved his family back to Greece. So like it is Giannis here. It is just
Yeah.
Giannis. So his life is basketball. Just basketball and his brothers. So yeah, Giannis, he's not gonna make it seem, he's not gonna force his way out. He's not gonna do any of that. He's gonna just beat around the bush essentially. Like, yeah, I don't want to be here, but I'm not gonna force my way out and this, that, and the third. So that's kind of just what it is. But yeah, I think that all parties just wait till the summer.
I think that's what happens with them. I think it was Fur that brought it up. So we give out all of our players for one player and some Bulls. I don't know what Bulls means. So if that's an Urban Dictionary thing, or if you meant to say fools, I'm going to assume it's fools. Anyways, like that is again, I'm writing about the Heat Shaq trade that they brought Shaq in. Like, they make that trade in the offseason, and from 2003 to 2004, going into 04-05 with Shaq, they returned 4 players. Like, that's the type of trade that it would be. It would be everybody's going out. Whoever doesn't go out gets routed to second or third or fourth teams to get picks, or gets cut because they just don't fit next to a Giannis Ant core. And then you just retool. I mean, again, you look at that Heat team and like Christian Laettner's on that team. Like, there's just weirdness all over it. So I do think if they were to do it mid-season, it's kind of acknowledging this season's a punt, and then in the off season they go out and kind of add the pieces that make sense. It's just gonna be really tough to see what. And Pack Mentality brings it up, like one injury and the Wolves are toast. Like that's what it would be if Ant goes down with a sprained ankle. It's just, all right, well, this season's over. And that's kind of how it is when you have like those two stars, like even that like Shaq Kobe teams, like they were deep, but like if Shaq got injured for a playoff run, like they're not winning the championship with Kobe, Rick Fox, and Eddie Jones. Like that's absurd. I think even like the Bulls teams, like if Jordan went down, Pippen's not winning that title, and if Pippen goes down, Jordan's probably not winning that title. Like it's kind of the it's kind of like the weird side of these dynasties of you look at it and it's like, oh man, they were able to run through some people, but it's just kind of like they got lucky. I mean, even the LeBron Heat teams, like if Wade goes down for a playoff run, like they don't win it that year. Let's talk about some other of the random people that are out there. I mean, I saw Kobe White a couple times in the chat. You mentioned Malik Monk. I'll be honest, my trade targets are a lot more boring because I just don't think Mike gets moved. Like I think when they look at Mike, they see what he does behind the scenes to help Ant and Jaden, and he's kind of like the team dad. Like if people have like daycare problems, they go to Mike. If they have relationship problems, they go with Mike. If they have game plan problems, they go to Mike. Like I just don't think he'll get moved, to be honest. But so my people are like, I don't know, a flyer on Russell Westbrook, like Jalen Wilson from Brooklyn. Like they're not fun names, but do you have any other fun ones that like you are hoping they go after?
Yeah, I think one that's pretty realistic, and his name has actually been floated around in the rumors a lot recently. It's actually not Kobe White, but it's the other Bulls guard. Unfortunately, not the one that came from Minneapolis, but Ayo Dosunmu. I think that's a super attractive name. It just kind of depends what the Bulls are asking for. Because like 4 nights ago, Ayo Dosunmu put up a 30 ball with like 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and missed like 2 shots. So, and Ao is one of those pieces that like he does the little things, but he also doesn't need like the ball to be great. He can play off ball. His defense has kind of taken a dip over the last, or I guess I should just say over this season. But I think a little bit of that does have to do. They are relying on him a little bit more this year than they have in past years. But I think that's something that could be intriguing. I know you just made the comment about Mike not going anywhere, but Terrence Shannon, he is from Chicago. He's from Illinois.
Yep.
I will be 100% honest. I am starting to raise an eyebrow on what we are going to do with Terrence Shannon because you are very close, if not in your championship window just opened. And is Terrence Shannon going to be a contributor? I love TJ. We got to see him in summer league. I had super high hopes for him, but injuries are a problem. There are glaring holes in Terrence Shannon's game that playoffs. So maybe a package of Terrence Shannon and again, maybe Mike Conley, and a second round pick swap or something like that to get Dusumu, 2 seconds and a pick swap, something like that. But I think realistically, yeah, the Wolves are just trying to go out and get a seventh man in the rotation. That's what it is. Like, there's not like the trade deadline in and of itself this year is just at a halt because of this whole Giannis thing.
Yeah.
So it's just teams are making moves for like the Keon Ellises of the world, the Ayo Dosumus, the Kobe Whites, like the players that are glue guys that are going to come off the bench, that are going to score, that are going to do little things that aren't going to show up in the box score. So yeah, I think that Dosumu, he's my favorite guy. If not, Trey Jones too, the other Bulls guard. I'm one of like the
Mhm.
only people that I'm like, I don't want Kobe White. I do not want Kobe
Yeah.
White on our team. So
I think to agree with like to bring that Kobe White point home is like this team doesn't have a lot of assets. Even with this summer when the 33 and the 32 pick swaps open up, like they don't have a lot of assets. So if you're trading Rob Dillingham as kind of like the quote unquote feature of this trade of like this is this player that just didn't fit in our system. I guarantee you if Rob goes to Utah, Rob's going to score 18 to 20 points a game because like Rob can score. He might have 17 turnovers a game, and some of those shots are going to be like heartburn infuriating type of shots, but like Rob is a talented player. So like if you're trading Rob out as like one of your assets, if Kobe White comes back, like he's not signing an extension here. Like that dude's going to make $25 million. Even with Mike coming off the books, you don't have that type of money to like extend him. And realistically in the playoffs, like Dante and Ant are playing 40 plus minutes every night. So if you're trading for Kobe White, he probably plays 15 minutes in the playoffs and leaves in free agency. And like now you don't have the Rob chip, which just kind of sucks. I mean, the other thing I'll say is like if they did want to go after a player in that like $11 million range, like if you went Rob, Lenny, and then you converted like Juzang to a partial guarantee, you can get to that level and then you just sign mid-level exception guys after the trade and still sneak under the second apron. So like for a DeSumo trade, if it's like Juzang, Lenny, and Rob, like heck yeah, why not? Like take a flyer on them, right? I'm just kind of going through like the contract lists. I mean, the other guys that are out there, like Jock Landell, I had been saying for most of the front end of the season, like, hey, get a change of pace big. Johan looks fine. So like at this point, it's kind of like I feel like they need that wing or guard more than a big. Lonzo Ball, maybe Cleveland doesn't need him anymore. They can make a trade, get under the second apron. Again, it's not a very like great list. Like Kelly Oubre, like
maybe Benedict Mathurin,
like,
Quentin Grimes.
If Golden State needs to shed money, Buddy Hield, like maybe, like none of them are going to be this like huge addition, but kind of what I've been seeing a lot in the chat here is just like, as Pack Mentality says, like they need a 7th and 8th guy. Like they just need someone that can competently give them minutes. So like Lonzo, maybe he has enough in the tank and in a different situation, he'd be better. You mentioned Quentin Grimes, like he's having an okay season for Philly. Like maybe, it's not, I don't think it's going to be like this crazy addition though. It's like, this is, we have a starting point guard now and Dante can go back to the bench. Like, I think it's going to be Mini Sports Fan brings up Malik Monk, who you brought up earlier. Like, that's kind of the same thing. Like, dude's having a great year shooting the ball, but like, how much is he going to play in the playoffs? Probably like 15 minutes, which that's where it gets super tough. Cause Mini sports fan, if they, trade for White, they have a plan to sign him in free agency this offseason. Like exactly. That would have to be kind of how that goes. It puts him in a weird spot. I will say, and we'll kind of close on this cause I want your thoughts on it. It does seem like this offseason is the time where they're going to take a big swing though. I mean, Julius expiring, Rudy expiring, Dante expiring. They do have the Shannon, Dillingham, Clark, Lenny, like kind of young assets. They have Jaden and Nas who are proven young assets on good contracts. And then they get the picks. Like, do you kind of feel that way too? That just this off season seems to be the something's brewing type of off season?
Yeah, absolutely. Ant's going to be entering his quote unquote athletic prime, his first year, coming on 25 next season. And like you just stated, the expiring deals, like this is going to be the time to go big game hunting. Last season, it didn't necessarily make sense just solely because of contracts, and like I feel like just as like a fan of sports, a lot of people like forget about that like money is a thing and there are rules to the NBA and like how contracts
We can
come in
blame
and go
football
out.
and baseball. They ruined all of the rules for us,
Hell
Matt.
yeah.
Keep
Hell yeah,
going
they
though.
did. But yeah, this has to be the year that you go out and make a swing. I won't lie to you. I'm not a Vikings fan. I'm a Packer guy, but I'm Minnesota through and through otherwise. And it's my pops, I'm getting off track, full Minnesota guy. So like I've seen the Minnesota heartbreak like my whole life. Like you get so close and then it just doesn't happen and then it crumbles. But like it feels different with Ant. It feels like Ant is going to be the guy to get it done. I've never seen a Minnesota team invest in a player like this. So Yeah, like I said already, I'm kind of a broken record. He's entering his athletic prime. You have the big three that you can build around that are all elite shooters apparently now with Ant, with Jaden, with Nas. And I
Jaden's
think that,
shooting over 45% from three, by the way.
dude, I
Like, how
know
many
it's
conversations did
nuts.
we have last season of like, if he can just shoot 35?
Yes, 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 dude, it's nuts. Like, I actually just dropped a text in one of in a group chat that I'm in, and I was like, dude, if you would have told me that Jaden McDaniels was shooting 45% from three, I probably would have punched you in the face, laughed, gave you the bird, and walked away. Like, in no world that I think that Jaden was going to come out and be a top 10 3-point shooter in the league.
No,
And that,
never,
yeah,
never would have guessed it.
no, no, and, like, if you look at, like, a Nas's per 36 stats, he's a 20, almost 9 and 4 guy, like, that is elite production.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
I will just say, like, on the off-season point, I just want to float some names out here that I think could make sense. Jaylen Brown,
yep,
Tatum comes back healthy. They still are in this weird cap situation. Like, they can't be in the second apron again, or else they're going to start really risking like the pick type of things. Like, Jalen's always rumored, like,
yeah,
from the same neck of the woods as Ant. Kawhi, last year of his extension, he's an expiring 50 million. You put Kawhi, Ant, and Jaden together, that would be pretty
that's a
dope.
squad.
Giannis obviously is in that conversation, but then also like the Markkanens. Does
Yeah,
Indiana want to keep Siakam? OG, is New York looking to move him? Like, they're going to be able to get anyone.
yeah,
Like, they'll
absolutely.
have the assets, they'll have the picks, they'll have the players.
Yeah,
And if you can keep Ant, Jade, and Nas, and then you just throw Kawhi in there, like,
yeah, yeah, and I guess something too that I just thought about, and it's not gonna happen, but we talk on the internet for a living, so I'm gonna
hey,
throw this out there. Has 2 years left on his deal. You go out, you trade for the expiring contract with Kawhi, $50 million. You have that to play with, and you have Nikola Jokic available in free agency in 2 years. So I don't think it happens. It won't happen, but just maybe, because I know that 20 is would it be 2027, 2028? Yeah, it'd
yep,
be that class full of some crazy free agents. Donovan Mitchell, Nikola Jokic. There's a bunch of other names that I'm forgetting. But yeah, that class is going to be insane. So I really do like the idea. You maybe go out, you trade, make a move for a Kawhi Leonard, somebody who is on an expiring deal, and then come next season with free agency, then you can make another move and try something. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what we do this season. It kind of feels like the make or break point.
yeah. It to me, it feels like this is the bridge season. Like, this
Yeah,
is going from Julius, Rudy, Mike, Dante, Nikhil last year, kind of as those guys are the veterans, to Ant, Jade, and Nas. This is your team now.
yeah,
And like, again, if you're calling Sacramento and you say, we got Julius, we have 3 first round picks, essentially, Rob, TJ, and Jalen, do they hang up the phone if you're asking for Sabonis? And then you just have Sabonis, Jaden, Nas, and Ant? Like, the possibilities are going to be really interesting this offseason,
yeah,
which pretty much anyone you can look at that's on a team that might be disgruntled, they're going to be linked to the Wolves at least for the next year and a half. So,
yeah.
Matt, I do want to give you space. Where can people find you? Thanks for coming on. And anything you're working on, anything people should be on the lookout for?
We lost you there, audio for some reason. I got majority of it, but yeah, I'm over on the Daily Wolves page. I do have an X, just Matt_Brockberg. I kind of just shit post on there to be honest with you. So all of like the Wolves content and stuff, our Instagram, our TikTok, I'm really active on there. So if you guys want to see more stuff about the trade deadline, I usually have videos and stuff, just little things here and there, usually like a game recap, both good or bad. And I'm a fan at the end of the day. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna play it by ear. I'm going to tell you how I see it. So go check out the Daily Wolves, Instagram, social media, all that jazz.
Awesome people over at the Daily Wolves. Evan's great. Friend of the pod, Tim Garrison's been doing some stuff over there. You guys are awesome. So thanks, Matt, for coming on. For anyone who tuned into this a little late and wants to catch it before they go to bed, this does get posted over on YouTube and on X as soon as we finish recording. If you can wait until tomorrow morning, they do come out at 7 a.m. That would be on February 3rd. And we will be back after the Toronto game talking more Wolves trade deadline, I would assume, because they're going to be right up against it after that Raptors game. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Matt, appreciate you as always. And we'll talk to you after those Raptors games.